Hey everybody, in case you missed it, last weekend in my WLD tournament in Memphis, T-Claw helped me raise over $2,500 for St. Jude. So in partnership with them, I wanted to put together a quick video on how I make sure I tee the ball up to the right height to maximize the distance on my drives. Alright, for this video, let's keep it simple. We'll focus on three things that create distance of the golf ball while swinging your driver. The first one being speed. We all know the faster you swing, the faster the ball will travel, and the further it will go. When it comes to teeing the ball up correctly, it really impacts two other variables that create distance. Angle of attack. Are you swinging up on the golf ball? Are you swinging level? Or are you swinging down on the golf ball? And that also generates spin. Are you spinning it too much, which creates the ball to go up like a balloon? Are you not spinning it enough so it goes out, you know, those worm burners that we always hate to see on the course? Too low of spin? Or are you creating just enough spin to maximize distance with the given speeds that you have in your swing today? So first, let's focus on angle of attack. With our irons, we are swinging down on the golf ball. You know, the ideal ball striking with an iron, you're hitting the ball first and then taking your divot out of the ground. The opposite is true for driver. The best drivers in the world actually swing up on the golf ball. As you can imagine, if you tee the ball too low, you're not going to have any room to hit up on the golf ball. So your ball needs to be teed up high enough to allow your club to bottom out and swing up as it makes contact with the golf ball. I'll post some screenshots here. You can see me when I'm long drive training. I have an angle of attack of anywhere between 10 and 12 degrees up on the golf ball. Rory McIlroy, one of the best drivers of the golf ball on tour. I'll paste a screenshot here of his TrackMan numbers. You can see he's swinging up on the ball almost 2 degrees. So on the course it's going to be less than what I'm doing in long drive, but the principles remain the same. Rory's hitting up on the golf ball 2 degrees, so you can imagine his tee height has to be high enough to allow his club to hit up on the golf ball. Now you might be wondering, why do we need to hit up on it? Why can't we hit down on it like we do our irons? Well, the biggest thief of distance is spin. If we spin it, like I mentioned, if we don't spin it enough, it's going to be a worm burner. If we spin it too much, it acts like a kite or a balloon. And after you hit it, the ball just goes straight up. So you're losing distance out because the spin is bringing the ball up. Now the way Rory has optimized his spin is hitting up on the golf ball about 2 degrees. Now the reason being is if you hit down on the golf ball with your driver, the ball will quite literally ride up the face of the driver, creating backspin. If you hit up on the golf ball, it's more of a level impact into the ball. That creates the optimal spin for optimal distance. All right, now let's talk spin. Once you've got your swing hitting up on the golf ball and your angle of attack is even 0 or up to that 2 degrees that Rory likes hitting at on the golf course, that'll greatly help your ability to control spin and have it a pretty good spin rate in terms of equaling distance. If you find that your spin's a little too high, even though you're hitting up on the golf ball, I would recommend going to a club fitter and making sure that your club, whether it be your shaft stiffness level or the loft on your driver, they might be able to help tweak that to optimize your spin a little bit better. But once you're hitting up on the golf ball, that's the tough part. So now let's get into how high should we tee the ball up to allow yourself to hit up on the golf ball at 1 to 2 degrees to optimize the launch and optimize the spin to get the most out of your drives and hit it as far as you possibly can. All right, so the all-important tee height. Now that we've talked about the why of why we want to hit up on the golf ball, what's the right tee height that allows us to do that? I mentioned T-Claw in the beginning. One tool I really like to use that I use almost every day I practice hitting driver is the T-Claw. One, it helps keep the tees from flying out all over the place. We've all been on the range where the tees are flying down range and you lose a bunch of tees because you can't go out there and go get them. You can see the little teeth here that it has digs into the turf or the grass and keeps the tees stationary so you're not losing a bunch of tees. But the big reason that I like using them is because you can always have a consistent tee height once you find how far that needs to go down into the tee claw. Most tees have some markings on them, whether it be lines like this one or some logos or text. And so once I find the right tee height to use with the tee claw, I always know that that bottom line that I have is always going to sit flush with the top of the tee claw. It removes all variables, so I don't wonder, is my tee the right height this swing when I'm practicing? I know that if that bottom blue line is flush with the top of the tee claw, the tee is the right height for me. So it's consistent from swing to swing, which really helps. Again, eliminating variables, make sure that you're getting better and you're able to focus on your swing and not putting the tee in the ground just the right amount each time. Some people aren't comfortable with teeing it up certain heights, but if we want to talk optimal tee height for your drives, we are looking at getting the ball about halfway above the driver. We don't want it too high up above the driver. You might see some of us long drive guys when we're competing with the ball fully above the driver head. And that's just because, again, we're swinging up at maybe 10, 12 degrees angle of attack. But on the course, you don't want it that high because it's much more difficult to control as far as missing left and right. You want to hit the fairway. If when you tee it up and your club is on the ground and the ball is in the middle of the face, that might look good at address, but when you want to hit up on the golf ball, you can see that if the second you tilt your club head up, you're going to be hitting the ball on the bottom of the club face, which again either is going to thin the ball, which doesn't go very far at all, or the ball is going to ride up the club face and create too much spin and it's going to balloon up and you're going to lose distance. Now, if you're wondering what length of tee to buy to give you the right tee height, there's quite a range. They make 1-inch tees for par 3s if you're using an iron. They make 4-inch tees, which the long drive guys like to use to get maximum distance. The tee height that I like to use even, and most guys use on the course, is a 3 1/4 inch tee. Anything shorter, makes it really difficult to tee it up high enough to get that, half the golf ball up above the driver. And anything longer, 4 inches, is just too long and it tees it up too high, or you have to stick it too far into the ground. So 3 1/4 inch tees are usually ideal. And again, making that adjustment, most people need to learn how to tee it up a little higher. Very rarely will someone be comfortable teeing it up too high. So making that adjustment can be difficult. So again, practice makes perfect. Use the tee claw as your reference point to slowly tee up the ball higher as you're working on your driver on the range. And we'll get into another setup video. I'll film that next on proper setup with the driver to help hitting up on the golf ball and help tee the ball up at the right height and feel comfortable with it. But one quick tip on feeling comfortable with the ball being teed up a little higher, if that's where you need to make the adjustment, is to move the ball up in your stance. Generally we want the golf ball on the inside of our left foot when we're hitting driver, and that allows us to, the bottom of the club swing is more in the middle of your body, and then as it passes the middle of your body up to your front foot, your club will naturally start swinging upwards at the golf ball. All right, I hope that helped. If you have any questions, just comment below. Happy to help however I can. I'll make sure to reply as quickly as possible. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to come out with a second video on driver setup to help not just distance but also accuracy. And thanks again to T-Claw for helping raise tons of money for St. Jude from my last World Long Drive performance in Memphis. And I hope everyone's enjoying the summer, getting out playing lots of golf, and we'll see you again soon.